Mark lives here, 2,400 euros a month. And Linda, she lives here for 1,300 euros a month. Same country, almost half the price. They both retired in Italy, but they're not living the same life. Mark has better hospitals, faster trains, real snow, real skiing, modern infrastructure everywhere he looks. He plays golf on the lakes half the year. And Linda has lower taxes, warmer summers, a slower, sweeter pace of life. She has neighbors who feel like family, and fresh local food for a fraction of the price. Neither one is wrong, but only one of them is right for you. Before I get to it, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you 3 ideas for what I'm going to cover next. I'm really asking you to help me out here and tell me in the comments which video idea you would prefer. This channel works better when you're helping me steer it, so stick around for that. Okay, let's meet Mark. Mark is 64, retired 2 years ago. He chose Bergamo, in northern Italy, about 40 minutes from Milan. His mornings start the same way. Coffee at the bar downstairs, standing at the counter like everyone else, then a walk. The town is medieval on top, modern below. He goes wherever the mood takes him. In the weekdays, he's usually doing one of 2 things. Golf at one of the courses tucked along the nearby lakes, Lago di Como, Lago di Garda, Iseo, with the Alps behind. And when it comes to winters, he loves skiing. And every February, for the past couple of years, he visited his family back home in Portland for a month. And here's what 2,400 euros a month actually covers. There's rent, a 2-bedroom apartment, modern building, mountain view, about 1,300 euros, groceries and eating out, and he does that a lot, roughly 500 euros, utilities including heating through the winter, about 250 euros, a private health insurance on top of what the national system covers, around 150 euros, the rest, golf, ski passes, the occasional trip, that makes up the difference. And why the north? For Mark, it wasn't about romance, it was about function. The modern infrastructures, trains that run on time, a short drive to a major hospital if something goes wrong, and also a short drive to Switzerland and other neighboring countries, which he likes to do every once in a while. About taxes, Lombardy doesn't qualify for Italy's flat tax program. Mark pays standard Italian income tax, IRPEF, like most residents. Now, let's get back to Linda. Linda is 61. She's been retired for 1 year. She lives just outside Manduria in Puglia, at the heel of Italy's boot. Her mornings are slower. No rush to be anywhere. Coffee on the terrace, then the market where the same 3 vendors know her order by now. Fresh baked bread, local goat's cheese, and the seasonal fruits and vegetables. Afternoons, she's often in the olive grove behind the house, not working it exactly, just being in it. And here's what 1,300 euros a month actually covers for her. Rent, renovated stone house with land, about 600 euros, groceries and eating out, roughly 350 euros. Produce here is local, seasonal, and cheap. Utilities around 150 euros. Winters are mild, so heating costs stay low. Private health insurance, about the same as Mark, which is 150 euros. The rest covers transport and a slower, simpler version of extras. Why the South? Cost was part of it, but mostly it was the pace. A community, neighbors who actually know each other, a version of Italy that looks like what people picture before they ever visit. And there is a real financial reason too. Manduria qualifies for Italy's 7% flat tax regime for foreigner retirees. Population just under 30,000, which is this year's threshold. That's not a small detail. On a typical retirement income, that regime can save thousands of euros a year compared to the standard tax rates. The trade-off? The nearest hospital is in Taranto, about 30 minutes away. For anyone with ongoing health concerns, that's not nothing. If you're watching this and thinking, okay, but how do I actually figure out which one I am? That's exactly what the Italy Retirement Blueprint walks you through. It is the actual process laid out in order. Which visa actually fits your situation, elective residency, digital nomad, or something else. How to budget realistically, region by region, so you're not guessing the numbers like the ones we just went through. How to actually choose where to live, not just which region, but which town and why it matters more than you think. And of course, the order to do things so you're not stuck waiting on one step because you skipped another. And finally, the mistakes I see people make over and over again. The ones that end up costing months or thousands of euros. It's the guide I wish existed when I was doing this myself. Links in the description or follow the QR code. And now let's get back to Mark and Linda. Actually, let's put the two side by side. Not the headline number, every line. We have rent, Mark 1300, Linda 600, the gap 700 euros. We have groceries and eating out. Mark will be 500 euros, Linda 350, and the gap is 150 euros. For utilities, Mark pays 250, Linda 150, that's another 100 euro gap. Health insurance, both will pay for 150, no gap here. Okay, I actually had to redo this part because the numbers didn't add up the first time, so here goes. Taxes is where this gets interesting. Mark pays the standard IRPEF tax in Lombardy because that's the way it is there. And Linda, living in Puglia, in a town under 30,000 residents, pays the 7% flat tax. And here are the numbers. On a 40,000 euro yearly income, Mark pays, including Lombardy's surtax and Bergamo's municipal surtax, that comes around to about 11,300 euros per year, or roughly 943 euros a month. On a 31,000 euro income, Linda's 7% flat tax regime comes to 2,170 euros per year. And that's roughly 181 euros per month. You add that to everything else, and the actual monthly totals come out to about 3,140 euros per month for Mark, and only 1,431 euros for Linda. Over a year, that's a gap of over 20,500 euros. If you take that to the 10-year, which the 7% flat tax regime covers, that's over 200,000 euros in total. So that's not a rounding number, that's an actual different financial life. But there's what the spreadsheet doesn't show you. Mark pays more. In exchange, he's 20 minutes away from a major hospital, his trains run on schedule. If he needs a specialist, he's not waiting months or driving hours. That matters more the older you get. It's not glamorous, but it's real. Linda pays less. In exchange, she's 30 minutes away from her nearest ER. Bureaucracy in rural areas can move slower. She does need a car. There's no relying on public transportation out where she is. Neither of these is a deal breaker, but they're not nothing either. This is the part people skip when they're dreaming about Italy. The postcard doesn't show you the drive to the hospital. Now, Mark and Linda are two people, but this pattern isn't about them specifically. It's about Italy itself. You have the north, which is Piemonte, Veneto, Emilia-Romagna, Lombardy. These tend to follow Mark's pattern. Advantages? A stronger infrastructure, better public transport, faster bureaucracy, closer to the rest of Europe if you like to travel, more English spoken in some of the bigger cities, and for anyone who actually likes the winter, real skiing and alpine access. In the south, Calabria, Sicily, Basilicata, Abruzzo, Puglia, these tends to follow Linda's pattern. The advantages? A lower cost of living across almost every category. Access to the 7% flat tax regime, more sun, a slower, more community-driven daily rhythm, closer to the Italy most people picture in their head before they've ever been there. If the 7% flat tax regime matters to you, the eligibility map matters more than the postcard. Population thresholds, specific regions, specific zones, it's worth checking before you fall in love with a town. You can actually check all of these at my website, italyblueprint.com. I laid it down in the description. So which one are you? Ask yourself, how much do you actually value being close to a major hospital? Can you live without a car, or are you fine driving? Do you want 4 real seasons, or do you want a summer most of the year? Do you like fast city rhythm or slow village rhythm? There is no correct answer here. There is only your answer. If videos like this one are actually useful to you, the best way to support the channel is joining as a member. Links in the description. There are a few tiers, whatever fits, and it directly helps keep this content coming. Now, remember at the beginning, the 3 options? Okay, like I said at the top, 3 ideas for what next, and you tell me which one you like best in the comments. Option 1, Northern Italy, best retirement destination, including a comparison of healthcare, infrastructure, and cost of living across the north. For this one, comment North Italy. Option 2, the snowbird tax trap. How to avoid unintended tax residency if you're living in Italy part-time. Comment snowbird for this one. And the third option, which I actually really like, how to rent in Italy short term for 2 to 6 months without paying the tourist prices. Comment rent for this one. Whichever comment shows up the most is the video I'll start working on next for you. If you're still here, did you know there's a way for you to live in Italy without actually moving there? It's all explained in this next video.